So, growth. The internet is still the driver. No question about it. 1.8 billion users on the internet, grew 13% last year in terms of users. Great factoid to tell your kids, 18.8 trillion minutes were spent on the internet last year. That was up 21% year on year. We get blasé about this because we live in that country on the left over there where there's 238 million users and they're only growing at 4%. Guess what? Virtually everybody who wants to be on the internet is on the internet, right, in this country. You look at some of the other large countries in the world, though, the numbers are astounding. Brazil, almost 70 million users, one of our fastest growing markets in terms of PCs, growing at 14% in terms of internet use. Russia, 13%. India, 23% on a base of 130. And then the mother of all markets, China, almost 400 million users, growing at 30% a year. So the internet, and there's all the countries in between that we didn't talk about. It is still the fundamental driver of computing for the foreseeable future. What do people do on the internet? Well, most of it's video. Right? Most of it today is video. Most of it tomorrow is video. The green part of those bars is video. We're looking at just consumer internet traffic. So we've stripped business out of these numbers. This is Cisco source, by the way. And you can see today it's video. File sharing is kind of the orange part, and much of that, quite frankly, is file sharing for video too, right? It's people sharing movies out there. Interestingly, you can't even see the internet gaming slice. That's the little yellow slice in the middle there. While it seems to consume a lot of times, it's not an internet-centric in terms of traffic application. It tends to be there's not that many bits moving over the internet for that. So we look at video as being the driver for internet traffic. Overall traffic continues to grow at 40% CAGR. And this is important when you think about how do you want to design your future products, because you want to make sure that our platforms excuse me, are designed for what people do on the internet, right? Where do they spend most of their time? We'll get into that. So how's the market? How big is the market? Well, let me build it up from the bottom. The desktop market is sort of 150 million-ish, round numbers today, and it's growing at 2.4%. So nothing to write home about, really. It's a nice-sized market. In the consumer space, the desktop market tends to be bifurcated. It's the high-end gamers who want the ultimate machine, but it's also the first-time buyers in places like India, where if you're going to spend your scarce income of something that is tangible, that can be shared by the family, is probably the first machine they're going to buy. And so we're seeing that bifurcate there. There's trends in there. In the emerging markets, a desktop continues to grow nicely. In mature markets, it's on a secular decline. Right? Why? Because the mature markets are shifting to laptops. Laptop CAGR from 2010 to 2014 is expected to be 22%. And we see nothing on the horizon that's going to really change that. In fact, I think, if anything, laptops as a share of the market could continue to grow beyond this. What about netbooks? This market that we created, it's going to grow north of 20% year on year this year. It's got a 15% CAGR. Still no signs of material cannibalization of the notebook market by netbooks. We don't see it becoming a very large slice, but it's a very important slice. It's in the range of 40 million units and nicely growing here, right? What about tablets? Right? Everybody says tablets are going to eat the notebooks or the netbooks lunch. Well, here's the range of estimates for tablets, right? From all the sources we could find, and on the scale of the PC industry, it's relatively insignificant. Now, who knows what they're going to be? My personal belief is that tablets, like netbooks, are additive. They are a new usage model for computing. They're good for computing. They're probably good for Intel long term. And I don't think that they will take market share away from other devices. You do different things with a tablet than you do with a notebook or a desktop, or even a netbook for that matter. A tablet is fundamentally a consumption device. And notebooks, desktops, and netbooks to some extent are for creation devices or high capability input devices. So you add all these up together. By the way, the tablet estimates are big numbers, 73 to 88% CAGR, but the end result is, I think the high range is sort of 50, 60 million units on the curve there. The net result is that the market for computing in units, we think will grow 15 to 16% over the next 4 years. A couple of things jump out of this slide, right? Number one, in 2010, for the first time, PCs this year cross 1 million a day. 1 million PCs a day built, shipped, and sold into the industry. And then we're projecting by 2014, next 4 years, that number basically doubles. It approaches 700 million units in terms of the near addressable market for our company. And we'll talk about the other markets later on. So to us, when you talk about a PC, it's still a growth industry. And the reason it's growing is that we continue to make the devices more useful, more affordable to more people. And that goes back to the Darwinian nature of this device. It's not a static device. It's not the same thing you bought 10 years ago. It's not even the same thing you bought last year. They change, they get better, and it keeps them growing.